Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Hope that you all are having a blessed day today. Now, in this video, what I'm going to talk to you about is something that you can be able to put down in your lawn that can prevent weeds from getting in it. And that thing that I'm going to talk about is called pre-emergents. Now, the 5 things that I'm going to talk about is this. Number 1, what is a pre-emergent? Number 2, what does a pre-emergent even do? Number 3, how can it be able to benefit your lawn? Number 4, when should you apply it? And number 5, do you even need a pre-emergent at all? Now, pre-emergent is a herbicide that when applied properly will be able to control certain broadleaf weeds from getting into your turf grass. Now, there's 3 different types of pre-emergents that a lot of people will use and they know in the industry as of today. Those pre-emergents is called Prodiamine, dithiopyr, and pendimethalin. Now, Prodiamine is also known as barricade. Dithiopyr is also known as dimension. And pendimethalin is what you will normally see in your Scott's products called Scott's Halts. Now, a pre-emergent's main job when applied is to create a barrier in the soil. When that barrier is formed, it will not interfere with the germination of the weed, but the barrier will interrupt this process of the weed and affect its growth by pruning its roots. Now, if you have weeds that are already present, it's not going to affect those. It's only going to affect the weeds that hasn't germinated yet. Now, some of the weeds that it will be able to take care of is chickweed, henbit, crabgrass, foxtails, goosegrass, speedwell, and spurge, just to name a few. Now, the way that it's going to be able to benefit your lawn is it's going to keep those troublesome weeds from getting into your lawn. So every year, you're not going to have to be going after the same weeds over and over and over again. Essentially, what you're doing is just playing defense. Now, some people may think that when the grass stops growing at the end of the year or at the beginning of the year, that they don't even need to apply a pre-emergent. But trust me, if you're struggling with any one of these weeds, this is when you really need to apply it the most. Now, like I said before, it's only going to be effective if you apply it to your lawn before the weeds emerge. And you want to make sure that you water your pre-emergent in, or you apply it before it rains so that the product can get washed down off the grass blade and into the soil. And just remember, when you water it in, you want at least a ½ inch of water. Now, the main time that you should apply your pre-emergent is going to be in the fall before weeds germinate and in the springtime before weeds germinate. So normally in the fall time, meaning September, October, when it's starting to cool down, this is when you put down a pre-emergent. If you do not put down a pre-emergent, these weeds are going to start germinating. Now, you're not going to see these weeds pop up until January, February, and March. So you basically miss your window. Same thing applies if you're trying to prevent crabgrass. Normally, you will put a pre-emergent down in February, March, depending on where you live, but you're not actually going to start seeing that crabgrass until May or even June. Now, that's also going to depend on where you live and what your soil temperatures are. Now, most people will wait until the soil temperatures is between 50 and 55 degrees before they apply their pre-emergent. Now, the problem with most lawns is going to have hot spots. Hot spots meaning near driveways, near sidewalks, near landscaping beds, up close to your house. Those areas are probably going to be warmer than it is in other areas within your lawn, just because of the simple fact that they're going to hold heat longer. So on this particular day, it was maybe 65 degrees and sunny. I went ahead and went out in my front lawn, and I went in the middle of my front lawn just to measure the temperatures that was in my soil. As you can see, the temperatures is around like 50 degrees. So from there, I went ahead and walked around to a place that I know is a hot spot, and I measured the temperature there. And as you can see, the temperatures there is 58 degrees. The whole point that I'm making is this: when you're checking your soil temperatures, make sure that you check in several places throughout your whole entire lawn. As you've seen in the video, the middle part of my lawn was 50 degrees. But when I walked over to a known hot spot, the soil temperatures was 58. So if you're checking a particular area in your lawn and you're just waiting for the temperatures to get between 50 and 55, and you're not thinking about your hot spot areas, you can already have the process of crabgrass starting to germinate in your lawn, ready to pop out in the late spring. Now, the germination of crabgrass is all going to be based on where you live. As you look in this map, you can be able to see that crabgrass is going to germinate in different areas at different times. So just make sure that you're mindful of where you live, and then keep track of your soil temperatures so you will know when to apply your pre-emergent. Now, normally here within Louisville, I normally will go out with my pre-emergent in February, and then I'll go out with it again in April. Now, what I'm talking about doing is doing a split application. Now, when I do a split application, especially when I'm spraying the pre-emergent, I normally go out with a lower rate. Now, the reason why I'm going out with a lower rate is because I'm putting down the pre-emergent twice. Now, if I want to spray a pre-emergent just one time and be done with it, then I'm going to go down with the higher rates so that it can be able to last longer. But studies have shown that if you do split applications, it can be more effective. Now, if you're going to be putting your pre-emergent down in a liquid form, you can be able to mix other registered herbicides with it. Just make sure that before you do that, you do a jar test first. So you apply your pre-emergent and your registered herbicides. Make sure that no clumping, no bubbling, or anything like that goes on before you take a large amount and then put it in your backpack sprayer or your pump sprayer and go out there and go spray your lawn. And last but not least, do you even need a pre-emergent in your lawn? Now, if you see these weeds in your lawn year after year after year, and it seems like they keep getting worse, then the answer is yes, do a pre-emergent. But the main objective is to develop a thick, lush lawn. If you have a thick lawn, then it's going to be hard for those weeds to be able to push through. So each year, keep working on your lawn, building up your soil to achieve that money green grass and keep the weeds at bay. Now, if this video was helpful to you, go ahead and like and subscribe and share, because I'm going to give you more videos that's going to give you more tips that can help you to be able to have the best lawn that you possibly could have. I thank you all for tuning in. Y'all have a blessed one, and I'll see y'all in the next one.